Alright, what's going on everybody, this is Sam from Zhalgas MMA Bet. In this video we're doing a wrap up of all the picks, the bets for UFC on ESPN 31 for Font vs Aldo. I'll also break down the prelims to you guys, and I'll also be having the discussion on the lock of the night and top 2 parlay discussion. If you're seeing this from Patreon, thank you very much guys, appreciate your support. It means a lot, because of you guys we keep this channel running. If you wish to support the channel, keep it running, and know how the Patreon tier can benefit you, stick until the end and I'll tell you how. Alright, so real quick, going through all the picks and the bets like I said. I'm just going to be talking about straight and parlays here, and I'll do in another video the prelims, so stay tuned for that. The prelim video is going to be very short and very objective, and let's go through more details in this one. Alright, so between Dusko, Todorovic and Maki Pitolo, I'm picking Dusko but not betting. Jimmy Crute vs Jamal Hill, I'm picking Crute not betting. Brian Barberina vs Matt Brown has been cancelled. Azamat Murzakanov vs Philipe, I'm picking Murzakanov but not betting. Chris Gutmacher vs Claudio Puez, I'm picking Puez but not betting. Leo Santos vs Clay Guida, I'm picking betting Santos, small bet. Chevanne Baez vs Mallory Martin, now Chevanne Vlismas, right? She's had some situations and got a split with her ex-husband now. So Chevanne Vlismas vs Mallory Martin, I'm picking Vlismas and betting her. My biggest bet of the card. Brandon Allen vs Chris Curtis, I'm picking Allen not betting. Luis Smolka vs Vince Morales, I'm picking Smolka and not betting. Brett Riddell vs Rafael Fiziev, I'm picking Fiziev but not betting. Alex Morono vs Mickey Gall, I'm picking Morono but betting Gall. Jake Mattis vs Jeremiah Wells, I'm picking Mattis but not betting. Rob Font vs Jose Aldo in the main event, I'm picking Font but not betting. Manel Kape vs Zhalgas ZHumagulov, I'm picking Kape but not betting. Alonzo Menifield vs William Knight, picking Menifield and not betting. Alright, so let's go through the lock of the night and top 2 parlay discussions. Just give me a second guys. Alright, so on to the lock of the night and top 2 parlay discussion. Guys, I think Chevanne Baez, Chevanne Vlismas, she should be, at least in my opinion, such a strong favorite. I'm quite curious actually why people are betting Mallory Martin. Then, actually shout out to one of my patrons. Bino, if you hear this video, shout out to you guys. Man, I appreciate your support. You're one of the most supportive guy, one of the nicest guy out there. So shout out to you. So came to my knowledge from Bino that Chevanne was splitting. Then I saw the news. So maybe that's why people are a little bit concerned about that. Plus there is the Montserrat Ruiz fight where she's got dominated basically by one technique. To be honest guys, I don't see much of a chance for Mallory Martin doing the same, because Mallory, unless she evolved crazy, which is hard to believe even though she's young, I think she's gonna do what she does. She's gonna come in squared and risking, getting hit, and I don't trust Mallory's chin. Even Mallory getting to the clinch, I don't think she's gonna win too many clinch battles. I actually think that Chevanne has more chances to end up on top, so I'm pretty confident here, plus the line is excellent. So option number 1, all in Chevanne. Option number 2, which I like to diversify a little bit more. I'm still going quite nicely on Chevanne, okay, so half of the money there. I'm putting a parlay with Leo Santos. I think they both gonna cash. Then Rafael Fiziev, I think it's worth a bet. I didn't comment that in the breakdowns, but I don't know, I have a feeling that Fiziev has more chances, so to diversify and mix it up, not a bad idea to bet Fiziev. Philipe Lins at plus 200. To me, there's value there. You guys gonna hear the breakdown. I'm gonna understand why I think there's value on Lins, and also same goes for Mickey Gall at plus 200. There's value in my opinion. So in option number 2, if everybody cashes, which is quite difficult, you would get 97 out of profit, which is massive, right? But if one of them miss, and I'm saying like Lins or Gall miss, which is definitely likely, you would still get 67, which is good. And if 2 of them misses, you would get 37. So I don't know, in between these 2 scenarios it's quite tricky, because like I told you guys, unless I'm reading this wrong for some reason, I think Chevanne is a strong favorite and this line is pretty good. So between the 2, I go more towards the option number 2, but with some caveat here, right guys, because of these 2 guys here quite tricky, but you guys will know why, right? Plus there are the prop bets coming up, so just as a piece of my comments here, right? And just to highlight, I don't recommend anything, right? So let's go to the breakdown guys, then I will show you guys my Patreon and why you should consider supporting the channel, right? So between Cheyenne Vlismas and Mallory Martin, guys, I told you guys at in the other in the other comments, I think Cheyenne gonna dominate, guys. The reason is Mallory Martin, to me, she makes so many mistakes on the feet. She comes in squared. She doesn't have that much power. She's not the biggest girl for the division. She's not the most technical girl for the division as well. You can argue the same for Bias, even though to me, sorry, Vlismas. Let me change this. You can say the same for Vlismas, because she's still quite green in her game. But to me, she's way more consistent, especially with the kickboxing. She hits hard, she's intense, she's aggressive, And like I told you guys, in a clinch battle, I would still favor Cheyenne. So to me, Cheyenne is a lock, and that's why I'm betting this one quite big. I would bet her easily from minus 250, minus 300. The line is minus 180, so to me, it's an excellent bet. That's why I'm going there. I'm not going to be betting this go the distance, no way, because I think Lisma is going to finish her. So unless if you like Mallory Martin, I would say definitely by decision. You can cover that if you get her like plus 400 by decision, but I don't think I'm gonna find this line. So to me, it's Cheyenne all day, or if you don't like Cheyenne for some reason, just pass on this one. Okay. Chris Gutzmacher versus Claudio Puelles. Grits is everybody know Grits. He's basically he lives up to the nickname. This guy is tough. He's a grinder, but he's not the most physically talented guy. Not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most athletic, even not the most technical. Sorry guys, not even the most technical. But he's gonna be there. He has a decent submission defense game, hard chin, and tough to put out. Aldo is more like a green guy. He's yet to find his style in the octagon. He's basically a grip. It's quite difficult to put his style. I think he comes from an MMA background, but he favors himself going to the ground, taking guys down, out grappling them. He's a good grappler. He has a good submission game, good submission defense. On the feet, I think he's quite suspect. He doesn't seem to have a strong chin. He's not the most technical striker. So to me, in the striking battle, Chris Gutzmacher should have that advantage. As surprising as this sounds. And it's gonna be interesting to see Puelles shooting, and Gutzmacher has a decent counter wrestling game, has good underhooks, good sprawl, not easy to hold down. To me, this is an interesting fight, guys. I was back and forth there. I end up taking Puelles just because he's younger, because he's more fit, and because he's under the better camp, especially because he's under the better camp, to be honest. So, tricky one. I'm gonna pass on this one, I was tempted to bet Chris Gutzmacher, actually, but I ended up passing altogether. Let's see how this goes. Fight go the distance may not be a bad idea here, because Gutzmacher doesn't have that much power, and the Puelles has a decent submission game, but not outstanding, and Gutzmacher has a good submission defense game. So this should go the distance, even though Chris round 3 or even getting a lucky shot and surprising many people is not impossible. So be careful there, but I think this goes the distance, right? Luis Smolka versus Vince Morales, another interesting one. Clash of styles. Smolka, super aggressive guy, comes forward, takes lots of risks, both on the feet and on the ground. Lots of submission attempts. This guy keep going. He doesn't favor position before submission. It's the opposite. He keeps attacking submissions, keeps attacking on the feet. But it's an effective style. He adapted that pretty well. Vince Morales more like the opposite. The guy likes to wait, likes to counter. He's a bigger guy here. He hits harder. In the wrestling part, Smolka has the edge. In the grappling part too. Even though Morales is not that bad on the ground, I don't think it's gonna be easy to finish Morales. But I don't see Morales submitting Smolka. I think Morales mostly gonna defend the takedowns, get back up, and keep it standing. It's a tricky one, guys. I was back and forth here again. To me, it's a very close fight. It makes sense to bet Morales, given it's a close fight and he's a plus 120 dog. But I'm gonna be passing on this one, guys. This also should go the distance, because Morales is not easy to finish. Neither is Smolka. Smolka has never been finished by strikes, So I don't know. To me, it makes sense to bet this goes the distance. So take a look at the prop, alright? Even though be quite careful, because like I told you guys, Morales hits fairly hard, Smolka takes chances, and they're gonna go for war. Most likely Smolka gonna come for war and gonna make Morales fight. So take a look at that. But either way, I think this goes the distance, right? Alex Morono versus Mickey Gall. Another interesting one, Morono is the veteran here. You know, the guy has so many fights in the UFC. More like a well-rounded fighter. Comes forward, swings for the bleachers, strong chin, tough guy. Can do a little bit of everything. Decent submission game, very good submission defense game. Mickey Gall, primarily a wrestler. Sorry, I just forgot to change here the label, but this is correct. Let's go here. So just to Mickey Gall, more like a wrestler, no, right? Not a wrestler, more like a grappler. Basically a BJJ fighter. Tried to catch up with the boxing, training boxing, but didn't catch up yet. Still quite far. Still sloppy, you know, on the feet, coming in squared, not so much power, not so much accuracy, wrong moves, you know. So I was expecting actually Gall to be those type of guys that come with one dimensional game, comes with like one tricky pony but evolves. It didn't happen up until this point. Maybe it's gonna happen this fight. I don't trust much because I think it's been a while since we see Gall fighting the UFC, and I don't see much improvements, to be honest. If he comes one dimensional again, he still has a chance because Morono has a poor takedown defense game, you know. Even though on the scrambling part Morono is not bad, he has a decent submission defense game like I told you guys. But he has a poor takedown defense, so Mickey Gall could take Morono down. He could potentially finish Morono on the ground because you know, Gall is quite dangerous from top. He keeps coming fishing for submission. He's a big guy for the division, still quite young. So I don't know. To me, it makes sense to bet Gall here, guys. In my calculations, he's like a, you know, 40% underdog. So he's a plus 200 in the bookies. I like Gall a little bit here just because mostly against Morono because Morono has poor takedown defense, not the biggest guy for the division. He can bang, you know. He comes for war and he's a tough guy and whatnot. But still, I think Gall evolving just a little bit and especially imposing his physical talent, let's put it this way, he's a little bit more physical here. He could win this fight. So let's see. To me, definitely a dog or pass. So I don't know. Maybe should be passing here, but I'm gonna be betting Gall. Leo Santos versus Clay Guida. A very good fight, guys. Leo Santos 41 now, but this guy's still a warrior. He's gonna come with. Cannot say that he's gonna come in his best shape, but he's gonna come as the best possible shape because he's gonna train hard. He's gonna come. He's a warrior, like I told you guys. Very talented, tall, you know, long. Hits fairly hard. BJJ champion. So this guy is a complete pack. Given despite the age, everything else, Leo Santos is excellent. Clay Guida more like a compact guy, very physically strong, you know, for the division. Unreal cardio. It's incredible how this guy is now. He's 39, but still probably one of the best cardios in the division, even being 39. The question here, guys, can Guida get inside? Can Guida push the pace, take Santos down, hold him down? It's tricky because Santos has a good submission game. Guida tends to lose to guys that have good submission game. And Guida has a significant reach disadvantage, 5 inches in reach and 4 or 5 in height, you know. So it's significant, guys. Leo Santos, he knows how to manage the distance. He kicks hard to the body. He kicks hard to the head. He has a good jab and a good check hook. Gonna be tough to get inside, you know. So to me, Santos is quite a strong favorite. The line is pretty much accurate in my opinion, but to me makes sense to bet Santos here. I'm parlaying him a little bit, right? And my pick is Santos by decision. Manel Kape versus Zhalgas Zhalumagulov. Another interesting one, Kape. This guy came with lots of hype to the UFC, didn't quite live to the potential. Only the last fight he's got a flash knockout. Even though I said in that fight I picked, I just lost the name of the guy. I picked the Jamaican guy there, and he was doing pretty well. I thought that he would win that fight, and then Manel got that flying knee. Kudos to him. But to me, Manel Kape, he's gonna be doing what he does, waiting a little bit too much. You know, trying to be, you know, technical on the outside, waiting more often than not. He's fighting Zhalgas here, who's more or less the same in style, you know, likes to counter more than be aggressive. Zhalgas is a little bit more consistent, you know, but he's also smaller than Kape, you know. So Kape has more talent, has more hype, has more momentum. So tough one, guys. I don't know. I was back and forth there. I think Kape is nearly like 60% favorite, but I see this one as a slow-paced fight. This should go the distance. And Manel Kape could wait too much and end up losing a boring decision like he did. You know, Zhalgas has a decent wrestling game as well. You know, he's not gonna hold and control Kape too much. So that's why I think the bookies have Kape as a strong favorite there. But to me here, it's a definitely dog or pass, especially Zhalgas by decision. This is a bet I'm going to be taking. And fight go the distance, I will be taking probably this one as well. Alright, Dusko Todorovic versus Maki Pitolo. This is also another interesting one. Dusko is more like, you can easily predict his style. He's a guy that goes with the 1-2 and clinches. If he can beat you up in the clinch, he's gonna win the fight. If he can't, he's probably gonna lose the fight. Difficult to know to tell what's gonna happen here. Maki Pitolo, quite decent wrestling, but mostly like offensive. You know, he's more like offensive fighter, even though he added some angles and some counters to his game. But he's the best. His style is at his best when he moves forward. Dusko is taller here, arguably bigger. You know, and I think in the clinch he's probably gonna be able to get to the clinch. You know. But one or more of those fights, guy, Dusko at minus 170, I don't know, I don't trust it. Pitolo at plus 155, I like Pitolo plus 200 would be nice. Pitolo plus 155, pretty much, correct the line. Pitolo could get the knockout, but it's not that likely because Dusko is a tough guy. Dusko getting the knockout also not impossible if you can wear on Pitolo for 2 rounds and finish him on the 3rd, even though I don't see much. So probably goes the distance, probably one more fight go the distance as a bet for me if the price is right. Or Pitolo by decision, I don't know, probably going to be an interesting line. Or Dusko by decision even, I don't know. This is a quite tricky one to call and to bet. I'm going to be probably just taking a look on those fight go the distance prop and pass altogether, okay? Azamat Murzakanov versus Philipe Lins. This is a curious one. Actually, this is an interesting one to bet the dog in my opinion. Azamat, he reminds me of Shamil Abdurahimov, a little bit smaller. The guy basically fights with an overhand right and a double leg and a good wrestling game. Pretty much the standard Russian wrestler with the power in his hands, physical guy and a good top game, good sambo wrestling. Philipe Lins now, he's coming down from the heavyweight. He's a quite big, he used to be not a big heavyweight, but not a small one as well. He's gonna come with a 79 inches here, guys, in a good camp in ATT. I think this guy gonna come a little bit hungry, because he wants a win in the UFC. I would say he's not getting any younger, so to him it's now or never. So probably Lins is a live dog here if he can stop those takedowns. He doesn't have a good defensive takedown game. He doesn't have a good BJJ or anything. But he's probably gonna be the bigger guy here, much bigger probably. Plus he's longer and taller. Murzakanov is 6 feet tall. Philipe Lins is 6'2", 79. This guy should have 73, 74 inches because he's more like this compact built guys. So it's gonna be interesting to see Lins swinging those bombs and earning Azamat's respect. We're gonna see Azamat shooting. That's gonna probably define the result of the match, whether Philipe Lins can get back up. If Lins comes ready with the cardio, with the takedown defense, then it's not impossible because again he's coming down weight class, he's an ATT. So to me definitely dog or pass. I'm betting Lins a little bit, right? Plus 200 makes sense in my opinion. But again definitely dog or pass. I'm going Azamat TKO just because Lins doesn't move that head and this guy has a good overhand. But I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a tricky one and definitely dog or pass. Jake Matthews versus Jeremiah Wells. This one unfortunately is a tough one for me to call. I could only see Wells on the UFC fight. Looked pretty good, looked explosive and whatnot. I just don't think Wells has the best mindset for the game. To me, he looks a little bit, anxious in there. Not taking anything away from him, because it's a super stressful event, But being a professional fighter and being a UFC, I have to highlight that. And Jake Matthews, more like a well-rounded guy, has been for a while, in the UFC. Pretty much well-rounded, good stand-up game, good double leg, good top game, good takedown defense game, big and strong for the division. Wells definitely has the power, definitely has athleticism, but again, I'm quite suspect because, for one, I haven't seen much from him. Maybe I'm just being, too jumping too much to conclusions with Wells. If he fights like that all the time, then there's no problem, just the way he fights. But I don't know, just gonna be passing here, even though Wells, I see some people betting Wells, maybe makes sense, you know, if he can defend the takedowns and keep it standing, probably has the edge. Because Jake Matthews has good striking, but nothing spectacular. He makes mistakes, can get hit. So you can see Wells finishing him, but I don't know, I'm gonna pass on this one. And Alonzo Menifield versus William Knight, I think is the last one. It's also another tricky one, guys. Menifield, he was known by his power, especially the way Joe Rogan commented, you know. I think Joe Rogan exaggerates a bit quite often, you know. So this guy has power, of course, you know. He's a finisher, and once he starts swinging, you can definitely tell he has power, but it's not preposterous like Joe Rogan said. I think he has power, but I think William Knight can take those shots, you know. And it's gonna be. I'm quite curious to see this one. I think actually Knight has more chances for the knockout than Menifield, you know, because William Knight, he's probably gonna wear on Menifield using his physical, you know, strengths. He's probably gonna take the top position, you know. Even though I'm curious for this one because Menifield, he has a decent clinch game, you know, good underhooks, knows how to hold guys there. William Knight's more like a freestyle fighter in that regard, you know, gets inside, try to push guys down, muscle guys down, and goes for broke from there. I don't know, man. I think it's a pick one. It's a pick M1. I'm going actually Alonzo, you know, 5% favorite here, so another dog or pass for me. I'm waiting. I would like to get William Knight at plus 180, something like this. I would bet Knight, you know, because I think he has chance for the knockout, like I told you guys, you know. And but I'm going Alonzo by decision. I think it's the safest pick, Alonzo by decision, because I don't see Alonzo finishing Knight. He could finish, of course, but I don't think very likely. Knight finishing Menifield also pretty much the same likelihood, and William Knight by decision also quite tricky because if Alonzo Menifield stuff those takedowns, he has a chance. Then he would dominate probably with the range. I don't know. It's quite complicated again. Okay. So I think Alonzo by decision is the best bet here. Probably I'm gonna be doing that and passing altogether because I expect this line to be very juicy. All right, and yeah, that's it because this was part of the main event. All right, guys, this was a pretty long video because there are so many fights to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed. So why should you jump into my Patreon? So for $10, you guys have this video. You have the lock of the night and top 2 parlay discussion. You have all the bets that I'm taking, discussing, and why. You have access to these slides here where I put the comments. You guys can read, you know, with your own pace. There are some you know, ideas here for bets. There are the comments, you know, so you can read that too. So I think this is good. Plus sometimes I release early, all right, so you can get the early releases. And for 50 is the ultimate package where I put line by line all the bets that I'm taking, and just so you guys can know how does it look like. Let's just real quick pull for the last event more or less what happened. So all the bets that I was taking. So I got Godinez, I got Pidc Santos, I lost some bets on Maki. I got some decision bets, right? So it's line by line everything I'm doing. Use this with a grain of salt, but use your own advantage. You can pretty much see what I'm doing and do anything you want from there. All right. So this will do for this video, guys. Actually, plus access to all of this spreadsheet, all of this content is part of the $50 tier, right? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll talk to you next time. This is Sam from ZHumagulov MMA Bet, doing the best, most consistent, and transparent betting strategy for you.